Hey, it's Anthony here. Welcome back to Open for Business. And today we have our first repeat guest on the show. Yes, Harry Sanders, who first came on the show in episode 17. He's back. It's exactly 3 years to the day since we first had a chat with Harry. And today we're going to talk about how he has built what is now an award-winning SEO agency in Melbourne, Australia. In fact, his agency, StudioHawk, is one of the only dedicated SEO agencies in Australia. Today on the show, we're going to talk to Harry about he's grown the business over the last 3 years. We're going to talk to him about exactly what SEO is, right? We're going to break it down for you. We're going to talk to him about whether we should, as business owners, be learning SEO ourselves, or should we be leaving it to the professionals? We're going to talk about what business owners can do. Yes, that's you and me. What we can do day to day to help increase our SEO. And we're also going to touch on what the future of SEO looks like and what his thoughts are on voice search. Massive topic. SEO is huge. Here's Harry. Hope you enjoy the show. Harry Sanders, welcome back to Open for Business.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back on.
Mate, it's. I was just saying to you, it's basically 3 years to the day since we had you on the show the first time. So you're actually the first guest that we've had back on the show. So well done to that.
Thank you.
We chatted to you on episode 17 for anybody who wants to go back and check that out. But that was literally 3 years ago to the day. So it's awesome to have you back.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you. It's exciting.
It is. I'm keen to see what's happened in the last 3 years, mate. So, for anybody who doesn't know about yourself or hasn't heard the previous episode, can you just sort of run us through what you do at StudioHawk?
Sure. So I'm the director of StudioHawk, which is a dedicated SEO specialist agency. So essentially we provide SEO services to small businesses all the way up to your large enterprise clients like Officeworks and Mecca and those kind of bigger brands. So we help and assist those companies get more digital traction through search engines, specifically organic search results. So to put that in numbers, organic search is worth about $30 million a month to Officeworks. So if we can increase that by 10% over the course of a year, we've done a good job.
Yeah, wow. That's awesome, mate. That's awesome. For anybody who may not be familiar with what SEO is, can you tell us what it stands for and what it is essentially?
So SEO stands for search engine optimization. Now, what that is every time you Google something, Anthony, it goes back to the search engine and queries to find the set of results, right? Now, it's going to come back with a set of results and it's going to display it in order of what it thinks you want. Now, naturally, being at the top of that list, you're going to capture a lot more traffic, about 35% in a lot of industries, that are going to come through to the website and engage with it. Right, so the higher you are up on that list, the more money you're going to make. Yeah,
perfect. That's a great way to explain it, hey?
Yeah, it's you get asked that question a lot, and it's 3 years in the making.
That's it, mate. You've had an extra 3 years to fine tune that pitch. That's awesome.
It.
That's awesome. So, mate, when we did speak to you back in 2015, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you may have had 1 or 2 staff working for you at the time.
Yeah, so all the way back 3 years ago, we had someone kind of part-time contracting, which was great, fantastic kind of first step in a business. But obviously we have come a long way. Now we're at 9 people that work for me. So I'm the director and we've got 8 other people, and that's really scaled up over the past year, to be honest. The business has taken some shifts, so we did a bit of web design when we first started, but I think one of the best things we did in our business was consolidate and focus on one thing. Reason being is there's that many operators out there now that you really need to be the best at what you're offering, and for us that was SEO.
Yeah, I love that, mate. I think, especially when we are in this sort of digital marketing space, and there are so many different avenues, like to really hone down and focus on one particular area. Obviously, it's paying dividends for you guys. You've taken home some pretty prestigious awards, which we'll talk about soon, but. Yeah, so you're located in Melbourne, and you've got a team of 9 people now, and it's all SEO based?
All SEO based. So I think at this stage we're the largest dedicated SEO agency in Australia, which is a weird thing to think about because you think about there's a lot of digital agencies here, but there's not many SEO specialized companies, which is which is certainly kind of awakening for us.
Yeah. What would you say? It makes the future bright for you guys, definitely. If you're already of that magnitude and already achieving the results that you are for your clients, it's the future looks bright, man.
Well, I like to think so, but yeah, it has been. It's been tough getting to that stage. I always say with digital, especially, like we haven't even captured a small. We're not even at like 2% of our market share, right? What we say to clients is we're like back in the old days, you used to hire the handyman who did everything around the house, and now obviously the toilet's broken, you call a plumber. We're the plumber of digital, right? We're a very specific thing. We work with specific things, and as digital evolves, I think there's going to be more people that are working with specialists rather than generalists.
Yeah. Yep. So true. I even think back to my business with Attention Media that, we're very, very much social media based, and, for us to branch out into other areas, it's pretty mind boggling, because for us to be able to, branch out into SEO or, paid or Google ads or whatever it might be, like they're whole other worlds into themselves. So, for us and the people that work at Attention Media, it'd basically be starting from scratch, or, as you said, you'd have to find someone who is a specialist and not a generalist to get the really good results these days.
Totally, and if you're putting resource behind hiring someone full time for a specific service in the business, that can be really difficult. It's a big upfront expense, and if it doesn't come through, unfortunately, as you know, you're playing with people's lives here. If that doesn't work out and you're forced to let someone go 3 months later, not only is that terrible for that person, but it's also costing the business a lot of money in time and training, which are all things you need to consider.
Definitely, mate. Sticking to SEO, but I've had a few people, and a few people that I know online who also play in the digital marketing space, and recently I've heard comments around the fact that, with things like, Facebook ads being so, popular these days, SEO, in their words, is on the way out, or it's dead, or it just takes too long to get results. And I'm guessing that there's certain industries that suit it better, but correct me if I'm wrong. And what do you think the future of SEO looks like?
Sure. So I think actually, we've been hearing that for years, actually. I think for the past 5, maybe even 10 years, there's articles on, is SEO dead or is SEO dying? In actual fact, it's probably going through a golden age right now. This is probably the best stage SEO has ever been in. Like, you've got emerging agencies and people are actually having an understanding of what's going on in search engines. So actually, it's the first time that Officeworks is substantially investing in SEO, and a lot of other large companies I know for a fact are doing the same thing. The reason being, Anthony, is with other platforms becoming so popular, it is becoming more competitive on price and different mediums. And organic search is proving, about 55% of most companies, revenue, if you look through their analytics. If you can find a way to boost that, even just by small technical improvements or backlink acquisition strategies, it's going to make a major difference. I think the way people are thinking about SEO is definitely dead. Keyword stuffing or buying 10,000 backlinks, those tactics are definitely dead, buried a long time ago. But that's ushered in a new golden age, which we're lucky to be a part of, where it is more technical focused and strategy driven.
Which is where you need a specialist, right? Like
exactly right.
You need somebody who knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, so I think the days of kind of understanding the basics of SEO and calling yourself an SEO person are numbered. I definitely do agree with that, just because you do need very specialized knowledge of search engines now, the way they've evolved, how they've worked. Even within our agency, we have trend specialists, backlink acquisition specialists, local SEO specialists, and different people that are good at different things. I'm good at really technical things and international campaigns, but local SEO, that's where I get Jacob involved, who's our local SEO specialist. So it kind of becomes like law at a certain point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so many different branches. With StudioHawk, I highly recommend it. We use your services in a couple of businesses, mate. And the reason being that we chose to go with StudioHawk, number one, is because I know you, but also due to the success that you guys have had, and especially the recent success you've had in taking out some pretty big awards in the industry. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So we're a pretty relatively new company. I think fourth birthday coming up. Well, we just had our fourth birthday, actually. But yeah, we recently were at the Sydney Opera House for the first ever SEO Awards presented by SEMrush. So we flew over there. We were nominated for the most of any other SEO agency, and we were so lucky that we took home 2 different awards, which is really substantial. And honestly, that's the most kind of awards anyone got. So to come from the background we have in the SEO field and to come home taking home those awards at the Sydney Opera House was substantial. That's how we got the Officeworks account, and we had a lot of big companies, even international companies, start to recognize us for that. So, yeah, no, that was really exciting, and I got to honestly say we weren't expecting that.
It sounds absolutely incredible, mate. What were it was 2 awards, correct?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, and what were they for?
So I won Best Young Search Professional.
Congrats.
Which is congratulatory in the digital field as the best young search professional representing the broader community. And I also, the agency won Best Low Budget Campaigns, and we were nominated for just about everything else. We had a business, one of the categories was Best Business to Business Campaign.
Okay.
And we had a local landscaper that came just second to American Express's International Platinum Card campaign.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was I don't think anyone saw that coming. And we had so many other stories of nominations that we had that we got nominated for or came second place in or finalist status for, which we're really hoping to kind of bring home this year with some of the new campaigns, the bigger campaigns that we've been lucky enough to work on. Yeah,
exactly. You've kind of, as you said, winning those awards kind of put you in the spotlight with some pretty big companies, and now you're just going to be able to, multiply that success.
That's it. So there's only, I love the small businesses, and we always want to be working on small businesses. I think that's what makes it a little bit different. But like that campaign that came second, unfortunately, we are limited in the resources and kind of things we can do with them. So that's where we're really enjoying working with some of those bigger companies that have
the big money.
Yeah, just unlimited resources to go after some of those heavier awards.
Yeah, that's awesome, mate.
Yeah.
And talking about small businesses, obviously this podcast goes out to a lot of small business owners. It's the main listener base. So for anybody who is out there listening, they run their own small business. Maybe they have done some SEO or some digital marketing in the past, but is it something that you think the business owner or managers should be trying to learn more about or do themselves, or should it be something that they turn to a specialist for?
Sure. I honestly, I think it's a bit of a mix. I know running an SEO agency, I should be saying, oh no, just hire the professionals, but it honestly does help a lot more when clients have an understanding.
Yeah.
So I would advise everyone, it doesn't take a lot of time to understand the basics. So if you can just have a look through how basic technical structure of a site works, Google have some lovely guides that they've written out for it.
Okay.
Now, just stick to the facts. Don't start listening to rumors or different things that people might say in the field. That's where it gets a lot iffier.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely think there are certain things that business owners can do and understand that helps A, building the website and setting up the right fundamentals, but also B, if they do hire someone, they know who is full of it, essentially.
Yeah.
So it gives you a bit more of an understanding there. And there's just so many things that small business owners can actually do themselves that are going to get them an edge over other people.
Yeah, perfect. I love that. And that's what we say to, a lot of our clients in the social media marketing space too is, you do need to try and understand the world. Yes, you're not going to all of a sudden just going to drop everything and do social media marketing.
Yeah.
When you have an understanding of, what the kind of impact that it can have on your business and, a general idea on how it all works, then obviously, it makes our job easier. But it also opens up the mind of the business owner, I suppose, to see the potential opportunities that are out there. So that's a great tip, man. I love that one.
Absolutely.
For anybody who is thinking about SEO or wants to improve their SEO, are there things that we can do in the background day to day? Things like blogging or updating your website. Are there any tips there that can have an impact on our SEO?
Totally. So what we generally say is the first year of your business, you probably don't need to engage an SEO specialist at all, right? You can do the majority of this stuff yourself, unless you have already an established business that's getting some traffic. It's getting that initial traffic that's the hard part. That's kind of your responsibility as the business owner. And I would recommend you work to get that yourself. SEO specialists are great at boosting that, but you should be responsible for getting that initial kind of slither of traffic. Now, how you can do that, right? So the main things I'd say, they're pretty easy. I'm big on the 80-20 principle. You can get most of the results in the littlest amount of time. Blogging once a month, right? Set up a blog, make sure you're blogging once a month. All of a sudden, your site's generating fresh content, and we know Google loves that. And compared to competition, you're going to start ranking. Is it going to take 1 or 2 months? No, it's going to take many, many months for that to build up and be established. But you will find you have people coming through. And that is always going to be valuable. If you're in this business for the long term, which you should be, that blog content is still going to be valuable 2, 3, 4, 10 years later.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
So definitely blogging. And also on that, don't write for SEO, right? So a lot of people hear, oh, you should be putting your keywords in, you should be doing this. Forget that. I would say naturally write the content as best as you can. Answer the question, answer the search intent of why someone might be looking for an answer to that question or content. That is the most important thing. Don't worry about keywords or the keyword density of 2 to 3%, as long as it reads naturally. That's what most search engines are looking for nowadays. And that's unfortunately where there's a lot of myths and misconceptions around business owners saying, oh, am I putting the keyword in enough? That kind of thing. So if you can avoid that, you're going to be one step ahead.
Perfect. Awesome, mate. And I think that's a key point to make too, is, how quickly, the platform and the algorithm is evolving, because now when we talk about keyword stuffing, obviously, that's not a good thing anymore, because the Google algorithm is so smart that it works off machine learning and user intent and tries to find content that does answer the search query the best, not the one that's got the most keywords stuffed into it. So, as you mentioned, try and write naturally, pick a topic and answer that question as best you can, and you'll see the results.
That's it. And look, that's the foundation. If you can start getting that content out, the only other thing I would say is just regularly check your site, make sure it doesn't have broken links, or make sure you're using a security certificate, and just make sure the site's structured in a way that makes sense.
Yeah.
And really, really, most of the tips are around don't try and over-optimize or overcomplicate things. The biggest issues I see are business owners that have taken it upon themselves to kind of DIY their SEO in creating pages that they shouldn't have, or keyword stuffing that shouldn't be there. Really just focus on a good experience, fast loading times, security certificates installed, blogging regularly. Those kind of things are going to have a much greater impact than if you try and create, for example, a page for each suburb you're doing business in that's automatically generated, which is actually going to do more harm than good.
Yeah, exactly. Mate, just before we finish up, is there particular types of businesses that you do like to work with, or if somebody is listening to this podcast and thinking that maybe we should take our SEO a little bit more seriously, is there particular industries or niches that you like to work with best, or particular size businesses?
Yeah, sure. So, look, the industries that work best in SEO are the ones that are quite niche or specific about their offering, right? So if, for example, finance is a very hard one to do SEO for, because you're up against all the big banks. And unless you have a specific product or service that you're pushing, going up for general terms, it's going to be a lot more difficult. In terms of the companies that are ideal for us, we look for anyone that has maybe a couple staff and already has a little bit of traffic that we can start boosting. But in terms of industries, look, anything from retail, storefronts, anything like that, they're all generally good fits. The ones that are more competitive are the ones, like I said, like finance or business coaching, where unless you have a real point of difference, it's really hard to get yourself out there in SEO.
Yeah, completely understand that. Mate, there are so many other topics that I'd love to dive into, but maybe we leave it for another time.
That's it.
Things like, voice search and AI, and obviously just like the future of the internet, basically. But just before we do finish up, can you give us your thoughts on voice search? What are your thoughts on it?
So I've probably got a little bit of a more controversial opinion to a lot of people on voice. I think everyone's really going on about voice, and I want to preface that by saying voice is fantastic, and it is going to surge in users, and it's going to become a big thing, right? But I think the way we think about voice needs to change a little bit. Voice is used heavily for educational searches, right? We learn more from voice search. Hey, what do I have on my calendar? Or where's the nearest store? Those kind of things are both very educational kind of searches. People don't do a lot of transactional searching on voice devices. People are still very visual. They want to see things. So I think that might change, but I think that change will take a lot longer, like 20 years almost, for people to actually want to trust artificial intelligence enough that it knows what it wants to buy. I think that if I said to Google, hey, buy me a top, I don't know what it would get me, and I certainly wouldn't trust it. So I don't think we're at that stage yet. I think we might be, but it will take a bit more time. But for now, I think voice is great for educational searches, but I wouldn't worry about it for the majority of small businesses. Definitely sits in that 20% basket of you could do it, but you're better off focusing your time elsewhere.
Mate, there's many listeners who have just breathed a big sigh of relief hearing that.
Yeah, look, I'm sure there'll be some people in the SEO world that don't love that opinion.
Sure.
The reality is some people like to overcomplicate their job.
Yeah, I can imagine. We all know someone like that. No, mate, thank you very much for sharing your time today, and I'm sure that's made things a lot clearer for people listening on where SEO is these days and what we can do to increase it. And yeah, as I said, it'll be great to have you back on in the near future. Find out which awards you win this year.
That's it.
Yeah, we'll go from there.
Another 3 years.
That's it, another 3 years.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Anthony. Really appreciate you having me on.
No worries at all, mate. For people who want to find out more about StudioHawk, where can they do that?
They just go to our website, studiohawk.com.au. I think we're on a couple of the socials, but we probably need a bit more work on that. We are investing in that this year. But otherwise, just get us on our website. We've got a blog there. We can keep up to date with the SEO latest goings on.
Perfect. Love it. StudioHawk.com.au, was it?
That's it.
Perfect. Harry, thanks so much for your time.
Yes, thank you.
So that's it for another episode. Thank you so much for listening. I really do appreciate it. If you love the show, the greatest form of feedback you can give is to leave a review. It helps the show grow, it helps more people find it, and I would really appreciate that. Head over to anthonygmurphy.com where you'll find all the show notes and links for today's episode. And if you just want to stay up to date with me and see what I'm up to, head over to Instagram, Anthony G. Murphy, and say g'day. And I will talk to you in the next episode.